Hey guys, it's Terry. I'm going to do a little video here about the difference between 12 volt and 5 volt WS2811 pixels. So I have Rexton WS2811 pixels that I use on my display for my Christmas display. Now, there's a lot of people that very much dislike the 12 volt ones. That's what I use because I have a very large display, covers a couple of acres, and I need to make sure that on some of my longer runs, and I have several runs that are 50 feet long, that I don't have voltage drop on them. I have to run 16 gauge, 16.3 cable so that the voltage drop doesn't drop down far enough to cause problems for me. Um, a lot of people dislike the 12 volt ones because they claim that they draw twice as much current. They don't draw twice as much current, but they do typically draw almost twice as much power. So I'm going to go ahead and show empirically the current draw and wattage difference between the 12 volt and the 5 volt pixels. I'm going to show on the voltmeter here, it's going to indicate the voltage at the input to the pixels, to the input to the string. There's going to be a little bit of voltage drop that varies with the amount of current drawn across the little jumper wires that I have here. And so you can see the amount of current that's being drawn down here on this display right here. That will show the amount of current drawn. So right now we have the 5 volt pixels wired up. These are supposedly 0.3 watts for these pixels. I don't think that's quite accurate. And we'll also discuss that as well. So let me go ahead and flip on the power supply here. I turned it on earlier, made sure we're at 5 volts. And oh, I'm a little bit hot. And whoops, there we go. Also, I was also shorting out the signal there. So yeah, here we go. 5 volts on the input, and we're drawing 1.66 amps. So if we do that calculation for power, we'll see that 5 volts times 1.66 that's 8.3 watts. So that's how much the 5 volt ones are drawing. So a lot of people say, hey, whenever you hook up the 12 volt ones, it's going to draw twice as much current. It doesn't. It will draw almost twice as much power, though. So here we go. We're going to go ahead. We're going to hook up our 12 volt ones there. They're not quite as bright at 5 volts, and they're certainly not drawing as much current. Let's go ahead and crank this thing on up. A little bit hot there. There we go. That's probably as close as I'm going to get it. It's 11.97, which there we go. All right. Yeah, it's just going to float around there a little bit. So we also have a 0.2 volt drop here at 12 volts. And surprise, we're drawing 1.45 amps, which is less current than the 5 volt ones we're drawing. That makes sense. We have less voltage drop as a percentage of voltage, and we're drawing less current. The voltage drop is going to be less because we are drawing less current. Um, the other thing to note here, so these are rated at 0.5 watts. The others were rated at 0.3 watts each. These are rated 0.5 watts. So we'll take our 12 times 1.45. Then we got 17.4. So slightly over twice as much power, but less current. So if voltage drop is what you're concerned about, like me, where I have very long runs, 12 volts is going to do you better. You're just simply going to be able to, they're going to be more resilient to voltage drop. Something else that's interesting about it is the range at which the 12 volt pixels can endure the drop. They can drop all the way, a while ago you saw it, at 5 volts, they were still operating. So they can endure that the voltage drop a lot better than the 5 volts can. It's interesting to just note the color as you drop it down. And these, you can still see that they're still illuminated even at 3 volts, and they still look like white. Whenever they drop real low, like to 2 volts, they turn orange, yellow, orange, and then eventually red. However, they have a very wide range that they'll continue to operate in. So I'm going to drop it back down to 5 volts again. And put the 5 volt ones in there. There we go. And yeah, just go ahead and drop that thing on down. So immediately, like right there at 3 volts, these start turning yellowish. And 2 volts, they're very orange. So, whenever they drop half of their voltage, they've already become discolored. So they're not quite as resilient to voltage drop as the 12 volt ones are. Anyways, so just wanted to kind of show that yes, the 12 volt ones do draw more power. However, whenever it comes to current, they don't draw more current. They actually draw less current. And if you're concerned about voltage drop, current is the thing that's important. And the amount of voltage drop versus what is needed to provide power to the pixel is also important as well. 5 volts are much more sensitive to voltage drop than the 12 volt, as seen there. You could see the difference as I started dialing it back. Anyways, so yeah. Also, let's see here. One other thing to note. So for the 12 volt ones, they were 17.4 watts. Let's divide that by 50, is what these are. These are rated 0.5 watts each, but they're actually 0.35. So 0.35 watts on these guys. On the 5-volt ones, they're rated 0.3 watts each. And let's see here, 5 times 1.67. 8.3 watts. About 50. And these are 0.167 watts. Or, 1.7 0.17 watts, not 0.3, because so they're off by a factor of 2 on both of those. I think they're being generous with the power factor. Anyways, so I just wanted to show you guys this video, and this is what I've been thinking about, while I'm on Christmas vacation. Anyways, thanks, guys. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and happy holidays. And I guess we'll see you guys later. Take care.